Welcome aboard the Culture Sailor. My name is Vince. Let's see what we'll find out there today.
Hope you're all having a great day today. Let's get into it. Casino Royale director worried Daniel Craig was too rugged for James Bond. Casino Royale and GoldenEye director Martin Campbell admits he was hesitant to cast Daniel Craig as 007 because of his untraditional Bond looks. We'll talk about that as we get further into this. James Bond Casino Royale director Martin Campbell has admitted he was reticent about casting Daniel Craig as a titular spy because of his rugged looks. Campbell exclusively revealed to Express.co.uk that his reservations about casting the talented Craig revolved around his untraditional appearance compared to actors who had played the coveted role in the past. Quote, "My only reticence with Daniel, he was really a superb actor. There's no doubt about that," he explained. It was the fact that with people like Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Pierce Brosnan was that they were all traditional looking Bonds. All handsome guys, all sexy, all very attractive to women, and so forth. Okay. I see what he's saying. It makes sense. Daniel was obviously tougher and ruggeder, but he wasn't a traditional handsome guy. So I just thought about that for a minute, and apart from that, absolutely, it was always him, Campbell added. Craig managed to beat a young Henry Cavill, who features a look more akin to that of the iconic predecessor of the role of James Bond, to star in Casino Royale. Craig's Bond films, which spanned over a decade, have been commercially successful for Eon Productions and mostly well received by critics. Campbell had previously helmed the Bond franchise's GoldenEye, starring Pierce Brosnan, before he directed Casino Royale. The filmmaker went on to detail about the casting process for 007. So let's take a break from this article real quick. So he's talking about Sean Connery. Let's see, who did he mention? Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan. All traditional looking Bonds. Right? Traditional looking. Okay. Let's look at that. So we have Sean Connery. Handsome man, of course. Great films, obviously. Everybody claims him as their favorite Bond, or number one or number two. Personally, number two, I like Daniel Craig as Bond. Casino Royale, Skyfall. Those are Craig's two best movies, but in those two movies, he portrayed the spirit of Bond the best. Here's Roger Moore. Personally, not a fan. I felt he played it too stuffy, too stodgy, too aristocratic. No, but not for me. Pierce Brosnan played it kind of stuffy, but the movies themselves were a lot of fun. This was the Bond that was Bond during my childhood, even though I grew up watching the Sean Connery ones with my father. But GoldenEye, great film. Probably Pierce Brosnan's best. And here's Daniel Craig. Now, of course, traditionally not as handsome as the other three. But you have, he has the big ears, kind of a flat nose, kind of a big brow, rough face. But let's look right here at the way that Bond was originally described in the books. Facially, Bond resembles the composer, singer, and actor Hoagy Carmichael. In Casino Royale, which was the very first Bond book, Vesper Lynd remarks, "Bond reminds me rather of Hoagy Carmichael, but there's something cold and ruthless." Now let's look here. Hoagy Carmichael versus Daniel Craig. Personally, I think that's the guy. None of these guys look like Hoagy Carmichael here. So Daniel Craig is the quote-unquote traditional James Bond. But anyway, let's return. The way they work with Bond, and it's pretty terrific when they decide on the actor and you audition. In our case, it was 8 people. It's very democratic. You sit around a table, 8 or 9 of you, he said. It was me and the producers, casting directors, etc. And you go through the 8 people, and you put your hand up as you talk through each person. And ultimately, everybody has to be unanimous in their decision, if you see what I mean. The Dark Knight trilogy and Oppenheimer director Christopher Nolan was in talks to helm the new Bond movie before the SAG-AFTRA strike. Yeah, it's talking about, okay. So, worried that Daniel Craig was too rugged for James Bond. If you ask me, Daniel Craig physically was the perfect James Bond. He looked just like him. Originally, Ian Fleming described James Bond as brutish. That's why he gets his martini shaken, not stirred, because it bruises the gin and introduces too much oxygen, and it to a purist, it ruins the flavor of the martini. So only uncultured, ungentlemanly people would drink their martini shaken and not stirred. Anyways, I think the director was wrong. I'm glad he was overridden here. And that's it. Hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on X at CultureSailor1. I'll see you next time, and as always, fair winds and following seas.